This is breaking news from ThailandTV.news. Now all the Thailand news is in one place. The latest reports from around the clock and around the world. Breaking Thailand news from all the world's top news sources, translated into 11 languages and updated 24 hours a day. Here's Ali with more.
ThailandTV.news has it all. The latest news, weather and sports updates. Plus, up-to-the-minute events listings and fun things to do in Thailand. And that's not all. There's also entertainment, lifestyle, and travel news, including the latest visa information. If it's happening in Thailand, you'll find it here at ThailandTV.news.
It's all here at ThailandTV.news. All the latest news, weather, sports, they even cover ice hockey. It's all done at ThailandTV.news. Yes, it's all the Thailand news, all in one place.
This is Thailand's biggest night for hockey. This is Hockey Night in Thailand.
And from Bangkok, Thailand, we welcome you inside the playoffs in the SIAM Hockey League. It's what we've all been waiting for since this season started, and everything to this point doesn't matter anymore. What happens from now until about 9-10 days from now when this is all done is really all that we're going to remember when we look back on this season. We have a doubleheader today, 2 games starting with LEXICON Lumberjacks and SIAM Mandalay. In the second game, it's KCG and Aware. My name is Adam Gottschalk. I'm alongside Greg Beatty. It's been a while. It's nice to see you again.
I almost forgot your name, Adam. It has been that long. It's amazing.
I looked at you, I'm like, Greg, you got it.
You're right. It's been a long season, and it's a short playoff series, you're right, which means anything can happen in these short playoff seasons.
So we're in kind of a weird situation with this first game, LEXICON Lumberjacks and SIAM Mandalay. LEXICON Lumberjacks took over first place in the league and the first seed in the playoffs about a week before the end of the regular season. Before that, since week 5, they'd been in second place behind KCG. However, they're on a 10-game winning streak. I think if there's a team that really didn't want this long layoff, it's been more than a month since the last time anybody's played a hockey game in this league. 6 weeks or so since the regular season ended with a long break for Songkran, the New Year holiday. That 10-game winning streak feels like a really long time ago, and even though they're the top seed and SIAM Mandalay comes in as the lowest seed in the league, I think there's going to be some time today when we still have to figure out, does momentum carry over after such a long break?
Well, you've got some strong leaders on SIAM Mandalay, Mr. Friesen and Mr. Stasny. They are very, very competitive. And I was in the dressing room earlier tonight, and they are getting their team fired up. They do not want to lose. They feel insulted that the Lumberjacks have picked to play them because, of course, the Lumberjacks had their pick of who they wanted to play. They picked SIAM Mandalay, and they are not happy about it.
In the second game, which obviously we'll tell you about when we get a little closer, but KCG against Aware, those are 2 teams that, forget about momentum. They were both all over the map, and I think you could say that for a stretch in the last month of the regular season, Aware might have been the best team in this league. Obviously, some of that was the play of James Speck. I'm not sure who's going to be in goal for Aware today. We'll see when they take the ice. However, Jimmy McAleer's a good goalkeeper as well. I don't know. I'm really excited for the playoffs, and I don't think you can say that there's a clear and definitive favorite.
No, you're right. And, I'm always going to be talking about the goalies. Nothing could be worse than a long layoff for the goalies. They do get rusty. Yes, the players get rusty blades. They might not skate as fast in the second and third period. They might come out on fire in the first period, but they might lose their momentum in the second and third. But for the goalies, the first period is most important because they want to build up the confidence in the first few shots, and they've been rusty, so anything can happen.
Well, let's talk about that goalkeeper matchup. And in the first game with Lexicon, it's Lance Parker, fresh off of a long return trip to his home in Canada, facing off against Igor Sikora for SIAM Mandalay. It was a late decision for Igor to get the start for SIAM, as Dream Unko Patanasuk was the penciled-in starter. Had some injury issues today, and Igor gets the nod. Igor Sikora, a really good player. However, again, it's been a long time since either of these guys have been in net. Lance has been in Canada, and Igor's been off the ice. Tell me about this matchup.
Okay, so Lance, yes, he just got back from northern Canada, and when I mean northern Canada, I mean he was way up north, like 20 hours north of Toronto. In fact, the lakes were still frozen when he left. They were actually just starting to thaw. Now, he arrived here 3 days ago, so he's going to be, or he should be, jet lagged, right? Now, he did play on Monday night in a scrimmage, and he looked fantastic. He made a lot of nice, Lance groovy saves, so he looked good. But you know what? It's 2 days later, he's still got jet lag. Igor, I texted Igor this morning and asked him if he was playing tonight, and he said, no, Dream's playing. So when I walked into the dressing room, I was expecting to see Dream, but I saw Igor, and hey, what's going on here? He goes, well, Dream got an injured back sometime during the day, so he called up, can't play, and Igor's filling in.
Lexicon Lumberjacks come in 14-3-1. They're on a 10-game winning streak, as I just told you. But on the season, only a plus 20 goal differential. That's a lot less than the number 2 team, KCG, which is a plus 47 on the year. It's been a streaky team all year, has Lexicon. They started the year, I believe, on a 4-game winning streak. Then they had something like a 6-game losing streak. Now they're on a 10-game winning streak. 6-game losing streak is incorrect. They only have 4 losses on the season. But I guess those 4 all came in one bunch. Obviously, they were riding a hot streak before the break. What's the difference with Lexicon when they're playing well and when they're not playing well?
Well, okay, being on a streak is, that's the right phrase, and it is a long season, so you want to peak at the right time. The problem with the layoff is the teams that peaked coming into the playoffs have now had to sit out for a month. So to me, those streaks mean nothing. This is a whole new season right here, a short season. 2 out of 3, and then the final game.
This is going to be a little bit of a complicated question for a team that has a 3-14-1 record. But if you could pick one thing that SIAM Mandalay could do differently to maybe have a better result, what would that be?
It's shutting down certain players, most notably Ken Kinborn. They've got to shut him down. They cannot let him break out of his own end. He's a rushing defenseman. He carries the puck well. He can shoot. He can pass. You've got to shut him down amongst the other star players they have on the team. But it's really all about Ken because he's going to set up the plays.
Ken Kinborn, the captain of the national team in their recent tournament in South Africa. Obviously a player with those leadership traits and also with the numbers, 12 goals, 18 assists on the season. It is very difficult to find a way to counter an defensive pairing like Kinborn and Dennis Amelka.
Yeah, Dennis Amelka, he cannot be underestimated. He's a great team player as well, passes, shoots, skates well. Let's face it, the Lumberjacks have a little bit more depth than their opposition, SIAM Mandalay. SIAM Mandalay, as far as I'm concerned, really squares around 2 players, Friesen and Stastny. They've got some good defense, but defense is not scoring power unless it's the Lumberjacks because their defense does have scoring power. That's the difference.
So SIAM Mandalay, the 4 seed, you already alluded to this, but just for our viewers in the last few seconds before we start, tell me about how the postseason works. The first seed gets the first selection of teams that they face off against, and that's for a series. Is this correct?
Yes, that's for this first series. Yes. Yeah, and you're right. The Lumberjacks selected SIAM Mandalay. They could have, there was some discussion they should have picked a where, but let's see what happens tonight.
So we are just about ready to get this one started. Lexicon Lumberjacks wearing the blue jerseys trimmed in yellow and black. SIAM Mandalay in the white,
Yes.
black numbers, and green trim on the jerseys and pants. 17 minutes on the clock. The way these SHL games work, if you've never watched this before, is you get 3 periods of running clock, 17 minutes in each period. And there's a quick shot on goal. That might have carried Parker's glove behind the line. That's in. That's a goal. It's 1-0 SIAM Mandalay. Parker was deep in his own crease. And when he caught that puck in the air, I believe it carried. So Tom Stasny's arguing. From up here, that was a goal.
Yeah, it was a save. It went into his glove, but his glove. Yes, now they're calling it a goal. You're right, Adam. His glove was behind the red line. It was a good save, but his glove was just in the wrong place. First shot.
I mean, that was only about 8 seconds into this hockey game. I'm not sure when that crossed the line, but we'll see who they get the credit on the goal to. It might have been Friesen. And that was the guy I saw raise his arm in the air first. But man, we were still telling you the rules of the game. And the 4 seed, SIAM Mandalay, has an early lead.
Yep, and as I was saying, Adam, you always want to stop that first shot.
It was Mike Friesen, by the way, who is one of the league's leading scorers. Do you have any idea, and you may not know the answer to this, but whether in the final statistics the playoffs are added to the regular season numbers? Because we've already seen some SHL records fall this year.
I believe they are, because the teams are going to be basically playing an equal number of games, except for the last game where the 2 losing teams of this series won't get that final game.
There's another opportunity, but that puck trickles over the stick of Stasny. For Friesen, that's goal number 16 on the year, and point number 37. He's had a tremendous season as the captain for SIAM Mandalay, and his 16th goal makes it a 1-0 lead against the heavy favorites. Again, it's a best-of-3 series, so an upset in this game, I mean, obviously we're only a couple minutes in, but that still would not be a season ender. They'd have to do this twice. Second game for both of these matchups will be on Sunday, and then the if necessary would be next week on Thursday. Championship, I believe, to follow Saturday of next weekend.
That is correct, yep.
So Saku Rantanen flings it in towards the cage. This is what we talked about before the game. That long layoff is going to lead to some really weird stuff potentially today as guys feel each other out again. The fact that all 4 teams have a nearly complete, not quite complete, but a nearly complete roster is also something we're not used to. Players had a long chance to get over injuries, to get back to town after the long holiday.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but for this game, I don't think there are any subs.
There is one on the SIAM Mandalay side. That would be when you see number 12 in white, that's Sean Berg.
Oh, Sean Berg, yeah.
He's on the ice now, and it was him trying to get his body in front of Kimarola's little snapshot and provides a screen, but the shot was no harm, no foul. It's a takeaway by Stasny. He does have numbers if they hurry. He's got McConnell and Bonazzo with him, but not quite able to capitalize. Now it's Kinborn and Stasny fighting for possession. Stasny gets it. I don't think anybody realized he had it for a moment. Able to curl off behind the cage and get it back to Simpson, who gets a deflection from Friesen in front, but it ends up poked just wide. Mike Friesen, the game's early goal scorer. Beautiful pass down low for Stasny. Parker went to the sprawl, and I think he got enough of that to at least cause some chaos in front and keep that one out, but pressure from SIAM Mandalay early in this hockey game.
Yeah, Stasny just couldn't, he was in the right place, he was in front of the net, but he just couldn't quite handle the puck there.
We are 4 minutes in. 2 shots for SIAM Mandalay, 1 officially for the Lexicon Lumberjacks. Adam Gottschalk, Greg Beatty, and the crew here in Bangkok. I want to talk for a second, Greg, about the conditions of the ice today, because this is another thing, along with the long layoff, that may affect the quality of play today and how fast breaks might be something that's a little bit nullified or negated as this game goes along.
Yeah, I can talk about the temperature in here, which is, warm is not the right word, but it's certainly not cold. Normally I wear 3 shirts. Now I have 2, but I don't even need the second one. I could probably just wear my t-shirt. I mean, it's that not cold here. It's going to affect the ice. Okay, the ice is not wet, but it's soft. And that means it's going to collect a lot of snow during the game, so it's going to slow things down, certainly by the third period. And it's also going to be ruts in the ice. And that's bad for the goalie because sometimes your skates can get caught in those ruts and you can trip. You trip yourself.
It's something that we noticed as soon as we arrived, just by virtue of the fact that our broadcast table is under some condensation. In fact, I don't even mean that as a joke. I went downstairs to get the lineups from Dom at the scorer's table, and I don't even think he can see the game. It's so foggy, the ice, whatever has condensed in here, the liquid, the condensation, that the glass, at least under, I mean, look across the way from us, right? You can see the
Oh yeah, it's right over there, yeah.
You can see the ice is not transparent, right? And so for now, it's something we can sit here and joke about, but it's very likely to be a real factor in how these games unfold today.
Yes, especially the second game when it's only going to get more scratched up, even though they do the Zamboni resurfacing at the end of the game. It does have some wear and tear.
It's a really nice play a moment ago by Dan Sinagulia, who was able to poke check Kinborn from behind as Ken Kinborn was carrying the puck in and teeing up one of his patented wrist shots. Sinagulia didn't see him coming, and he just got his stick right in there. Oh. That one gets behind Sikora, and somehow it stays out. It handcuffed him. It took kind of a basketball bounce off the ice and just bounces right back into the pads of Igor Sikora, and jumping behind him on the play to help keep that one out was Andrew Sia, the defenseman.
Yeah, it was a good save, but the puck kind of trickled through his arm, landed behind him, and then he just had to fall on it. He wasn't quite sure what it was, but he fell on it, and the whistle blew, and now had the face-off.
Omelka's shot goes wide, and Adam Williams will hold it in at the line. Now Benazzo looking for an outlet. He had Friesen streaking down the ice. Instead, it's Dennis Omelka to collect for Lexicon. We're 7 minutes into the game's opening period. 1-0 SIAM Mandalay, our scorer. Friesen, the goal scorer, had that one behind the net. Gets it out to Xia. It's still in the offensive zone, but taken back by Arola, who will try and slow things down and create a little bit of an offensive set for the league's #1 team, Lexicon. 14 wins versus 14 losses, but that's not what the scoreboard says right now.
Yeah, the Lumberjacks always... Oh, now they've got a breakaway.
Look out, we've got Kim Arola all by himself. Arola tries to kind of deke and go 5-hole, or it slipped off his stick. It's hard to tell. If that was intentional, it's actually a pretty smart play. You see that sometimes in the NHL when guys will fake like they're going from right to left and instead just kind of poke it through the goalie's pads. In that case, Sikora was up to the challenge, and it stays out and stays 1-0.
Yeah, it ended up becoming a soft shot, but still tricky for the goalie, and Igor made the save.
Fourth shot on net registered by Lexicon in the early going of this hockey game. Kinborn's been on the ice, I believe, throughout. I don't know that I've seen him sit yet since this started. He backhanded that one across, and it's taken back. SIAM Mandalay, Friesen with Benazzo. There's a shot that Parker stops. It was, honestly, from up here, it's probably 2 steps off sides, but it's been a while since anyone's watched hockey here.
Including the referees.
Including the referees.
The Lumberjacks usually get out to a slow start. They've always had that habit of having a slow first period. They haven't quite clicked yet, and I'd have to say that most of the action has been down at the, I'll call it the Lance end of the ice, and the SIAM Mandalay is actually playing very well right now.
As you said, can you kind of fly on the wall for us a little bit about what you heard? You were talking before the game in the locker room about how the leaders for SIAM Mandalay were being quite adamant that they were not satisfied with how their season had gone, without giving away too much that they wouldn't want known. What was that conversation like?
Well, I asked, if they were for lack of a better word, insulted by the fact that the Lumberjacks picked to play them, because the Lumberjacks could have picked another team like Aware, right? But they picked SIAM Mandalay, and they did feel insulted. And I'll tell you, there's nobody more competitive than Stastny and Friesen out here in the SHL. They kind of take that personally, right? So they've got their team fired up, and right now they're up 1-0.
SIAM Mandalay. It was about halfway through the season when Friesen, the captain, decided that they would change their lines and try and put all their big gun scoring on the first line. And there was a 2 or 3 game stretch when they played pretty good hockey. Maybe it's injuries, some guys missing time. Obviously, they were not able to maintain that momentum, but we've seen them put games together this season.
Yes, they have the capability. It's all about the execution. Can they execute with their capability?
Saint-Denis with a centering pass, but Omelka had his stick lifted on a nice defensive play from Simpson. And the puck trickles back to behind the net. But not so will take that one off the goal mouth and fling it down the ice. Doesn't Scott Murray look like an NHL coach back there? You see him in the jersey. He's not playing today, but he's in that coach's position, arms folded across his chest, watching Scotty hockey down there, standing behind the bench.
Yeah, he's a real student of the game, even at his autumn age. He's still focused, loves the game, and there he is on the bench. Like, he can't sit in the stands, he can't sit, behind the glass. He's got to be on the bench if he's not on the ice.
Good to see him again. He was out of town the last time I was here doing a game, which is actually when we came and filmed a show, which we'll talk about a little later. Here's John Shakhnovsky. He kind of knuckle pucks that one that Sikora is able to read and stop. I don't know exactly the story behind this. I'll tell you, I guess, the next time we do a game. But John Shakhnovsky has the commissioner of the league, he's got a ridiculous weekend planned. I would say a stupid weekend, but, that's insulting. He's in some kind of athletic competition on, I believe, the same day. It's some kind of the kind of thing that I would never survive, like an Ironman challenge of some kind on the morning of the next playoff game. He's been training for that. And the guy's pulling athletic double duty this weekend, all at a level that somebody of my age would be intimidated and scared to handle, much less John. Quite impressed with how much he's putting himself through this weekend. And commissioner of the league, you do what you want, but man, he is really challenging himself the next few days, that's for sure.
Well, that's the right word, I think, challenging. He's in good shape, but that's demanding on anybody at any age, right? Even when you're at your peak in your 20s. But to be doing it,
that's
a few decades later.
That was the third, sorry to interrupt you, the third blocked shot on that possession from Tom Stastny. Technically the first one, that was onside. That's a bad call.
Yeah.
That was a bad call. And
Bonanza,
that took a breakaway away from Jeff Bonazzo. But on the previous defensive possession, Tom Stastny kicked away a pass, got down and blocked a hard shot, and then blocked a soft shot, all on the same defensive possession. You tell me he doesn't want to win.
Yeah, he's got that Bobby Orr energy, right? I mean, Bobby Orr would dive in front of pucks, skate up the ice, and he would do it all. And that's what Stastny's doing tonight. He is fired up. In fact, he was exercising up here before the game. And, I mean, most of the guys, they don't exercise before the game. They'll do some stretching, right? But, I mean, he does the full 20 minutes, a hard workout. He's got the heart rate pumped up. He's got the sweat going. I'm telling you, he is up for this game.
All right, we're down to our last 3.5 minutes of an entertaining opening period. The first shot of the game is the only goal we have so far. That was off the stick of, for the 16th time this year, leading goal scorer Mike Friesen for SIAM Mandalay. They're the 4 seed against the 1, and they lead this one 1-0. A 3-on-2 for Lexicon Lumberjacks is whistled off sides, and even that one was pretty close. I mean, you've done a lot of games with me. You've watched games that I've done. I don't like to harp on the officiating. The guys work really hard. It's a thankless job. But that's twice in a row that I would probably say, when in doubt, swallow the whistle.
Yeah, especially when Bonazzo had the puck at the blue line there. I mean, he can score. He would have had a breakaway. This was a 3-on-1 or
3-on-2,
3-on-2. It looked like a dangerous play, and it was nullified by the whistle.
And it was also, I mean, again, I understand that this is going to be online for replay, and if I'm wrong, I'm going to be easily proven wrong, but as we watched it happen, it was not offsides.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we don't have the benefit of the replay up here.
Yeah, well, next season, I'm insisting that that Keith get on that. I want replay monitors, a statistician.
Yeah.
My
list of demands grows by the week as we get ready for the end of this season.
Send that check.
How about Santa Coffee? Did we ever get any coffees from buy these guys a
Yeah, it's
coffee?
going to take a lot of coffee.
Melka has it behind the net. He's defended by Xie, and it ends up on the stick of Friesen. Gets it to Stasny, but not out. Saint-Denis with the puck, and he'll overlap with Adam Williams. Down to the final 90 seconds in just a moment here in the opening period. 7 shots on goal for Lexicon Lumberjacks and 5 for SIAM Mandalay. Melka's shot, just a low-line drive that Sikora saw all the way and was able to get a pad on. Melka, who's played almost the whole way this period, will skate off. Kinborn comes back on.
A little bit of tight checking in the corner there with Stasny.
Joe Seavey, first time we've called his name. He's jostling for position with Simpson, looking for a deflection. It does end up on Seavey's stick, but skips wide. Long possession offensively for Lexicon. If you're SIAM Mandalay and you're the decided underdog, it's a big difference between hanging on for these last 45 seconds and going into the quick period break up 1-0 versus in a 1-1 game. You like to feel rewarded for the effort. A pretty strong opening stanza.
Yeah, and the Lumberjacks are really starting to pour it on. They were down in the end zone there.
Here's a 3-on-1 developing. Sinagulia with that time, that was the correct call. Unfortunately for SIAM Mandalay, which had a perfect 3-on-1 opportunity, CJ Gamble on the left side was just a little bit in ahead of the play. And you see Scott Murray, the coach, is clapping and not protesting. Quickly during the break, let me remind you, our network affiliates, whoever is board opping or producing or working in studio for us this evening, is going to be your local break coming up in just 5 seconds. Pan Hung Swati, last chance for Lexicon, gets it to Vatsis, whose shot trickles wide, and there's the buzzer. After 1, it's a 1-0 lead, SIAM Mandalay over the Lexicon Lumberjacks. This is the first game of our doubleheader of the SHL playoffs here on Hockey Night in Thailand.
This is breaking news from ThailandTV.news. Now all the Thailand news is in one place. The latest reports from around the clock and around the world. Breaking Thailand news from all the world's top news sources, translated into 11 languages and updated 24 hours a day. Here's Ali with more.
ThailandTV.news has it all. The latest news, weather and sports updates, plus up-to-the-minute events listings and fun things to do in Thailand. And that's not all. There's also entertainment, lifestyle, and travel news, including the latest visa information. If it's happening in Thailand, you'll find it here at ThailandTV.news.
It's all here at ThailandTV.news. All the latest news, weather, sports, they even cover ice hockey. It's all done at ThailandTV.news. Yes, it's all the Thailand news, all in one place.
Back for the second period in a 1-0 SIAM Mandalay lead over Lexicon Lumberjacks. Adam Gottschalk, Greg Beatty, Keith Mueller, and the crew. It is an absolute pleasure and a privilege to bring you hockey on this balmy evening inside the Thailand International Ice Hockey Arena. Talked about that in the first period, but if you're just tuning in, we do have a little issue with warmth and condensation in the rink. I will say, to this point, the ice is not as affected as I thought it would be. So far, the game has unfolded in a normal hockey way.
Yeah, although, you know what, I would say that the pace of the game was not as fast as it normally would be in that first period.
Well, but that's going to call my attention to a note that I saw you scribbled brilliantly on your note sheet. The very first one, which I believe says double chins. When we talk about a slow pace of play after a month and a half layoff, I can tell you myself how much weight I've gained since the last game.
Well, that's exactly what I noticed when I was in the locker room earlier tonight. Some guys have gained a bit of weight. Maybe too many of those Tim Horton donuts or those Stastny donuts. The flesh on the skin around the face was very noticeable. Double chins, yes.
Well,
Okay,
also
so
some,
you
Food
pointed
Panda as well.
you pointed out before the period started when we were off the air that there was an equipment issue. We saw Lance Parker skating to his goal crease, and you saw something hanging from the back of his jersey. Okay, so my guess is it was a strap.
Yeah, I think
But
you're right.
it is a strap, but it's not from where I thought it was. It's actually what connects his leg pads, right? So
Yep.
it had come unlaced. It was hanging onto the ice. Somebody just caught it, and that's what this stoppage was just now, was for Lance Parker to get a chance to tie that up again. And immediately he's greeted by ringing iron as that shot just rang the post.
And they did stop the clock for that 20 or 30 seconds, too, so the clock was not running.
SIAM Mandalay scored on the game's first shot from Mike Friesen. He's a part of this 3-on-1. Friesen's got it. That shot, I don't know if that got Parker
Yes,
or
what
if
a
that
save.
got the skate of Kinborn, who was skating right in front of him. It either caught Parker's skate or Kinborn's. One way or another, that is easily the best opportunity since that first shot of the game for SIAM Mandalay. And we'll give Parker credit.
I think it was a
but,
save. It was a great save.
It was a great save. But yeah, that was Friesen again, who had that first goal. Got a whistle here, and I'm not sure if the arm's up as if it's going to be a penalty.
Yep.
2 minutes for a cross check, and skating off will be Jeff Bonazzo. Really, really unhappy as he's barking at one of the Lexicon Lumberjacks players.
Yeah, that was John Stranovsky. And, first penalty of the game. And, they got to stay out of the penalty box, SIAM Mandalay. They got to stay out of the penalty box. They cannot let these guys go on the power play, especially with Ken Kinborn out there.
I was just about to say, with the defensive, offensive players that Lexicon has, the most dangerous power play unit perhaps in the entire league, Dennis Omelka. I mean, I'm sure KCG would say something about that, but there's no Roman Laren in the roster today, who's usually that anchor at the point on the power play for KCG. Omelka has it. 2.5 minute penalty. That's how minors work in the SHL, but the clock does not stop. But Bonazzo's off. The 5 on the ice for Lexicon on offense. Saint-Denis is going to be in the middle. Kinborn, Omelka, Arola, and John Shaknovsky. Parker will come way out of his goal crease to play it and get right back into the offensive set. Defensively, the 4 on ice for SIAM Mandalay, Stastny, Friesen, Sia, and Simpson. 1 forward, and then Stastny, who plays that kind of hybrid wherever you want him role. That shot kicks off Sikora's pads. It's still out and covered by Sikora. Again, I really, really don't want to harp on it, but that was offsides.
It was. Yes, it was. And the referee was right there.
Right on top of it.
Yeah. We keep talking about Ken Kilborn, but, Dennis Omelka out there and Justin Saint-Denis, they can be as equally dangerous, if not more.
And we're not even mentioning Kim Arola, who is the leading goal scorer on the team.
Yeah, they got a lot of depth. But they're down 1-0.
Kinborn will lead the offensive charge, but just loses possession, and it kicks off his stick and out to neutral ice. Under a minute remaining in the game's first minor penalty. Power play time, 40 seconds left, and Shaknovsky will carry it in and try and set the offense one last time for Lexicon. Saint-Denis at the Ovi spot. Circle back to the top with Kinborn. Under half a minute remaining in the minor penalty. Both teams still the original 5 and 4 on the ice, and there is a laser beam tying the game. Kim Arola goes top shelf, caught the shoulder pad of Sikora, and buries that one in the back of the net. I don't know what the penalty call was. I mean, I know what it was. I don't know what it was based on because we didn't see it happen. But Mike Friesen, the captain for SIAM Mandalay, is fuming as he leaves the ice. You see him shaking his head, waving his arms. I mean, that was... I make no judgments on the call as I did not see it as it happened, but I know that SIAM Mandalay would really, really like that penalty not to have been assessed.
Yeah, I think it was a cross-checking penalty by the movement of the signaling of the referee. It was a cross-check. A very soft one, I would say.
All right, so Q Prasop will chase it down as Lexicon has now evened the score 1-1. They are leading in shots 10-6, and now they'll attempt to take their first lead of the game. SIAM Mandalay, which had led throughout since the game's opening seconds, now finds themselves in a brand new hockey game, and they'll need to generate some offense. It's not like they've played conservatively with that 1-0 lead. You saw a couple of chances since then, but Parker's been up to the challenge.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, the Lumberjacks have had most of the play this period and the second period, and we're 7 minutes into the period. SIAM Mandalay seems to be slowing down a little bit, and you know what? They are the older team, so let's watch if they still have the lung capacity in the last half of this game, especially going into the third period.
I understand that this is, it's CM Hockey League. It's not the NHL. But you forget sometimes how much fun playoff hockey is at any level, right? Like, watching this, I'm like, man, this doesn't feel like the regular season. You realize it's not the regular season. And that's not necessarily always a good thing either because guys tighten up. Everyone wants to not make a mistake. But a lot of things are going to happen, including a Tom Stastny goal on one of the prettiest passes you will ever see. That was Harlem Globetrotters. Mike Friesen just threaded the needle. Tom Stastny put it home. And that's one that I'm going to mark. Where are we right now? We're 9:47 of the second period. I'm marking that so I remember where to go back later and watch this on the stream on the YouTube feed because I want to watch that one over and over again. What a gorgeous goal. And what did I say about SIAM Mandalay needs to respond now to a new hockey game? And guess what?
Yeah, and they did just seconds later.
They came to play and give Tom Stastny his 17th goal of the season. Earlier in the game, he was matched at 16 by Friesen. He now takes over again as the leading goal scorer for SIAM Mandalay.
With Friesen setting up the play.
Kinborn's shot rifled in low. I think Saint-Denis may have gotten a small deflection on it, but either way, Sikora keeps the pads on the ice, makes the stop. Stastny fighting for the puck at the blue line and able to get it in on sides, but eventually a pretty nice defensive play from Justin Saint-Denis. We'll take that one away. Now Saint-Denis calls for the return pass and got it. Dekes a player out of his skates and just backhanded that one a little wide. Man, that puck almost bounced off the glass behind the cage, off the back of Sikora and into the net. That was a crazy bounce, but no harm done. I think it landed on top of the cage.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Saint-Denis is he's always dangerous, and I have to say, we have been scrimmaging on Mondays and Thursdays, and he's just seemed to have stepped up his game. He was scoring, I mean, he always scores a lot, but he was scoring even more than normal in the scrimmages. He is hot. He's hot.
Third leading goal scorer, actually make that second for Lexicon is Saint-Denis. Only the 20 goals of Kim Erola is ahead of the 13 that Saint-Denis has this year. Kinborn has 12. That 20 goals would mark one of the highest totals in the history of the CM Hockey League were it not for the 26 of Jan Isaacson in a record-setting performance. No player in the SHL history, according to my record books, which I don't know, I wasn't here, I'm just trusting the record keeping, no player had ever had a 20-goal season in the SHL before this year. Jan Isaacson might end up with 30.
And he's playing in the next game, right? I wasn't sure if he was going to play tonight, but I was talking to him in the donut shop earlier, and he says, yes, I am playing. So that'll be interesting to see what he does tonight in his first playoff game this year.
This nice centering pass looking for, I believe that was Peem who was calling for the puck. It ends up over his stick, and now back comes SIAM Mandalay once again. That's Sean Berg wearing number 12 today, the only substitution playing for either side in this hockey game.
But Adam, I'll tell you what the difference is in this game that I see so far than the previous games.
Oh, what a steal. Stasny got in the passing lane. Looks down low, and it's 3-1. What a goal! Tom Stasny on a gorgeous steal and pass, and Mike Friesen gets his second of the game. A 3-point performance for Mike Friesen, the captain, in a 3-1 lead for SIAM Mandalay with 6 minutes left in the second period. I don't think anybody saw this coming.
No, I mean, they left him standing in front of the net.
Who were the two that you said before the game were looking like they had fire in their eyes? Friesen and Stasny, no?
Yes.
And who is dominating this hockey game right now?
Yep, the leaders of the team. Two of the oldest guys on the team. Not the oldest, but I think Ralph takes that one. But they're the elders of the team. Let's say that.
So this is a best of 3. Again, if you're just joining us, it's the championship is a 1-game winner-take-all.
Yes.
But before that, the 1 versus 4, the 2 versus 3, it's just worked out that way this year. It's based on who the number 1 chooses, but 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3, and each of those series is a best of 3. But not so looking to add to the advantage, and Parker goes from post to post to catch that one and get the whistle. 5 minutes left in our second period. 3-1 our score. SIAM Mandalay leading Lexicon. You know, you have been telling me, Lance has been telling me, Scott's been telling me, everybody tells me that, you know, whatever I think I know about the SHL season doesn't matter in the playoffs. We've seen some crazy results over the years. And, you know, look, it's very likely still at this point you would say that Lexicon Lumberjacks are the favorites to be holding up the trophy when this is all said and done. They were the best team in the league, all things considered this year. However, it just goes to show, don't sleep on playoff hockey.
Anything can happen in the playoffs. But don't count the Lumberjacks out yet. We still got pretty well 1 period and just less than 5 minutes to go in this one. They're not out of it yet.
And here's Arola looking to answer back right now, but a sliding stop. Adam Simpson got down on the ice to block that pass, and he'll reload with Friesen behind the net. Second game coming up after this, Aware and KCG, and I think that's the one that we were looking at before this, is saying, man, anything's going to happen in that series. If you ask me who will win that series, I truly have no idea. The way Aware played towards the end of the season, there was absolutely nobody that could beat them for a while. That's in. That's a deflection off the stick of CJ Gamble. It might have been off of his skate.
Yep.
And it ends up between the pads of Parker, and oh my, it's 4-1 for the 4 over the 1.
Wow. I certainly wasn't expecting this, right? We're only still in the second period, and it's 4-1. Again, it's not insurmountable for the Lumberjacks to come back, but you know, it's a daunting task now.
So Gamble was definitely the last one to touch the puck. It wasn't a shot necessarily. I thought it deflected off his skates. He will get credit for the goal. That's his 3rd of the season. And whether that was his intent or not, it was his position and his fighting for space in the crease that created that goal. And he's about to have a breakaway here. He's got McConnell next to him. Gamble's shot was bothered by Jarrett Woody Prida, and it goes wide. And now, Lexicon, you got to start turning up the energy a little bit. Mark Vatsis with Hongswadi and Williams. His cross-ice pass ends up behind the end line. Williams collects, taken away by Sinagulio, who'll play it along, but Hongswadi has it. Feeds one back. That was nearly a cross-check again, potentially, but it was not called. Comes back out to neutral ice.
Adam, look at the body language of the bench. SIAM Mandalay, all the guys are standing up. The Lumberjacks, Most of the guys are sitting down.
The only guy who doesn't look happy on the SIAM Mandalay side is Scott Murray, who's chewing off his fingernails.
Well, okay, so we still got 2 minutes left in this period. Okay, the Lumberjacks really need to score a goal.
Sorry to interrupt you. You know how I said that should have been called a cross-check?
Yeah.
I think it was. So we have a late call, but there is a penalty assessed. But you know what? I'm wrong because they put it on SIAM Mandalay and just changed it on the scoreboard to the Lexicon side, I believe. It's a power play for SIAM Mandalay, and I could not tell you for the life of me what that call might be.
I didn't even know there was a penalty called.
I'm not sure that Dom knows either because nobody's number is up on the scoreboard yet. But either way, unless somebody scores, the remaining minute and 24 seconds of this period is going to be filled with a SIAM Mandalay power play, already leading this game by 3 goals. Ken Kinborn trying to change that short-handed. He stick handles his way in, but Friesen takes it away. He'll clear it down the ice to Stasny. 2-on-1, 3-on-1, but not so's there. But a nice play by Omelka to get in the passing lane. Friesen collects. We're down to the last 60 seconds of the second period. Power play SIAM Mandalay, and they're leading. Centering pass gets kicked away. Again, it was Omelka in the right place at the right time, and now we see it's Mark Vatsis' name on the scoreboard, who's off in the penalty box. Station's quick reminder, it's going to be your local break coming up. That shot shouldered aside. Xiao is causing some havoc in front of Parker. Well, yeah, once again, Station's your break in 30 seconds. First, though, drama here at the Thailand International Ice Hockey Arena. That one took a crazy bounce on a deflection. Parker got down on the ice, but that puck skipped a little bit wide. Simpson now looking for someone to get it to. That's a give and go. Simpson's shot was into the belly of Parker. But what a play between the two defensemen, Adam Simpson and Andrew Xie, creating an offensive opportunity and nearly a 5th goal of the hockey game.
Yeah, and it would have been coming at a terrible time.
And that's the buzzer. 50 seconds remaining on the power play when we come back to begin the next period. 4-1, SIAM Mandalay. They're 17 minutes away from taking an advantage as the low seed in the first round of the playoffs. Back after this, it's Hockey Night in Thailand. "17 minutes remaining in this hockey game." Adam Gottschalk and Greg Beattie. So one of two things is going to happen if SIAM Mandalay hangs on and wins this game. Either we're about to see a massive upset, or we're about to see a Game 3 and a decisive winner-take-all game. Either way, we win.
Yes, we as the spectators and the announcers, yes. That's what's so exciting about the SHL playoffs. It ain't over till it's over.
A little bit less than 1 minute left on the power play for SIAM Mandalay. The 5 guys they have on the ice with 50 seconds remaining in their man advantage: Stasny, Friesen, Bonazzo, Xie, and Simpson. It's the same 5 they had for the first part of the power play, but they all got to rest during that little intermission. Stasny got his stick on the puck looking for that deflection, but it ends up going just wide. Teams switch sides here as we go to period number 3. Stasny's shot got a lot of that one, but it goes a little bit wide of the net. I think he jammed his stick on the ice just a touch. Down to half a minute remaining in the power play. SIAM Mandalay, as you watch it on your television or phone or computer screen, they move from right to left as we look at it here. Lexicon Lumberjacks, who carry the puck in shorthanded now in the blue jerseys, they move from left to right. That should just about end this power play. Both teams have now had one chance and gone 0 for 1. And because the power play ended as that puck crossed the goal line, I think we're going to get a whistle and an icing call. It was just by a fraction of a second that we have that, but as we get ready for the face-off, we see Mark Vatsis out of the penalty box and skate straight off the ice for a change.
Yep, so we're back to 5 skaters on each team.
4-1 our score. SIAM Mandalay with the lead, and it's been that guy and that guy. The two you just saw with the puck, they have dominated this game today, Stasny and Friesen.
And they're both out there now, yep.
And they're both probably going to be out there for as much as their legs will let them stay out there here in the third period. Real quick, before we get too deep into this period and have some drama we don't want to miss, I do want to tell you about something that I've been very involved with since just before this hockey season started. We launched at the end of August. It's a program called OTR. We are very happy to be a part of the same network that you can watch these hockey games on, ThailandTV.tv and Airy.tv, channel 99. And Keith, can you explain what Gretzky hashtag is? Gretzky's number, channel 99. I got it. Anyway, if you've never seen OTR, we're a YouTube channel, and obviously here on Thailand TV. YouTube channel focused on Thailand food, culture, and history. Search for us, youtube.com/OTR on the road, and I instruct you to do that because one of my absolute favorite videos we've ever made was about the SIAM Hockey League, and specifically the donuts from Tom Stasny. Had a real chance to get with Scott Murray, who was out of town at the time, but helped give me all these old photos. We got to tell the whole story of the formation of the SHL and all the way back to 1994 when hockey really started here in Thailand. Really fun piece. Absolute pleasure to do, and I hope you get a chance to watch it.
You really did a great job. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. It was really a great piece.
Thank you. I'm quite proud of that one. I know it's not necessarily something that our typical food and history viewers are going to immediately gravitate towards, but I don't care. It's one of my favorite ones we've done.
Well, when you were able to combine donuts and hockey and actually weave it and make it interesting, that was masterful.
Keith,
absolutely masterful.
That is literally all I did all season was combine donuts and hockey.
Oh, yeah. yeah. I guess maybe you're right.
It was a fun video. As they say, Gretzky hashtag.
Well, I've watched several of the shows, and I think most of them are about 20, 25 minutes, right?
Yeah, up to lately we've been closer to 30, 35, but yeah.
Well, I know the donut one was about 30 minutes,
yeah.
Right? But it's a great educational piece as well. I mean, yes, they're entertaining, but they're also educational because you blend in food along with Thailand history and a lot of facts that I was not aware of, and I've lived here for 30 years.
It's been a really fun project to take on, and we're really gratified to see how it has grown. When we started this season, it was barely anything that even existed. I think when we did our last game here before the break, we had something like 1,000, 2,000 subscribers. We're up to almost 25,000 right now. It's been nice to see that people respond to what I would consider to be hopefully smart content. But now let's get back to hockey because we've got 12 and a half minutes left in what promises to be a thrilling finish of the first playoff game of the year here in the SHL. And that one just a little bit long for Omelka to hold in. You can see just a touch of frustration on the Lexicon Lumberjacks side. You know, you want to resist the urge if you're Lexicon to say, you know what, didn't go our way, get him next time, the series isn't over, let's try it again and win the next one. But, you know, at some point that does have to start creeping into your head when you feel like you're just not getting things to go your way.
Yeah, I mean, the hourglass is dripping sand right now. There's less than 12 minutes left.
That being said, sorry to interrupt you, this is a team that can score in bunches, and Kinborn rockets. That's the second time that we've heard iron in this game, although the other one I think was also in that net, which means it was from SIAM Mandalay. Kinborn, Arola, and Omelka. If Lexicon is going to come back in this hockey game, it's got to start there. In the meantime, McConnell very nearly made this a 5-1 game, just couldn't quite get his balance as he tried to ram the brakes on. That was what did I say about a little bit of frustration for Lexicon Lumberjacks? Nobody got back on defense.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another difference in this game, Adam. I mean, towards the end of the season, we were seeing shots on goal like in the 40s. And right now, with 11 minutes left in this game, the shots are 16 to 14. Not a lot.
That's a really, really good point. What would you attribute that to in this game?
Again, I have to say the ice is a bit slow. It's not wet, but it's slow. It doesn't seem like anybody's really zippy out there. Yes, Siam Mandalay is playing well, but
then if nobody's zippy out there, what do you say about Stasny and Friesen?
Okay, they've made some great plays, but I'm saying the game in total, so it's not just about one or two guys, although they've got all the goals, but I don't sense the speed out there tonight.
It does stand to reason that the ice would be playing slow today. It is, as we told you at the beginning of the broadcast, it's quite warm in here, and you can see the condensation. It's raining on us.
Yes.
Like, I put my old papers from the old games on top of our broadcast gear and power strip as a makeshift umbrella just to keep us on the air. There's a lot of condensation in here, a lot of humidity. The weather's been all over the place, but either way, it is what it is. Both teams face the same conditions. And SIAM Mandalay has been the team that's taken advantage of it, and they lead this game 4-1. 4 goals on 14 shots. Lexicon 1 goal on 16 shots, and we're down to 9 minutes. 35 seconds left to play. Sikora got a nice stop on that one. Kept that away. Look, Greg, I hesitate to say this because I don't want to
jinx anybody?
Well, not to jinx anybody. We don't play favorites here, but if SIAM Mandalay doesn't collapse in this hockey game, if they hang on and win, Dream has been their goalkeeper all season long, played in the majority of the games. Sikora has played some. Obviously, if Dream's back acts up and he can't play, then so be it, right? But it feels like Igor almost got handcuffed on the first shot of the game. He was a little shaky in the first period, but you're watching him play a really, really confident hockey game right now. Do you say, if you're Coach Scott Murray standing behind the bench, hey, let's ride the hot hand for a while? They're both good goalkeepers, but do you potentially stick with the guy who's now shut down Lexicon Lumberjacks for the last almost 2 full periods?
I have to say yes, because you said it. They're both good goalies, right? I would have no hesitation going with Igor. I'd have no hesitation going with Dream. To me, they're both good goalies, and they're very capable. And we've seen a lot of nice leg pad saves from Igor tonight. He's played very well. And, of course, he's only got 1 goal against him.
8 minutes left. That's it. It's 4-1 SIAM Mandalay over Lexicon. It does feel like this game's kind of slowed to a slog here in the third period.
Yeah, and you know why? Because we're seeing some skating going back and forth, but we're not seeing the shots. Again, 17-14 now. Not a lot of shots.
Friesen waiting at the blue line. Cross ice pass to Stasny. He's got Bonazzo and Sinagulia. He looked to Sinagulia, who was knocked to the ice right in front of the net. The puck goes over his stick and taken back by Saint Denis. The Lexicon Lumberjacks captain, he's going to have to be the catalyst if something's going to get started here. But in the meantime, there's a turnover. Sinagulia has it. No numbers, though. He's 1-on-3, so he'll just, well, I would say eat the puck. Instead, Stasny jumped in on the play and very nearly created an opportunity. But it's back out to neutral, and SIAM will simply run a bit of clock here.
Exactly. That's what they're doing now. They're just puck control.
Dean Smith 4 corners offense.
Yes, that's what they're doing.
That's a one-timer blast from Arola. He's got the only goal in the game for Lexicon so far, and that one just whistles high. It feels like there's a story to this game, right? It feels like the story is SIAM Mandalay played better than Lexicon Lumberjacks. They came out and have taken a lead. However, all of this feels so different there's been a lot of shots on both sides that have missed by inches. We've seen the iron rung twice. We saw Kinborn. I'm not sure that he's had any shots that haven't missed in this game, and yet they're not missing by much. Sometimes you just get those breaks, right? Like sometimes your shots just find bodies in front. So, however this feels right now has no bearing on how the next game is going to unfold. Hockey is a game of millimeters sometimes.
Yeah, and the next game could be equally different. But I do have to say that for the play that the Lumberjacks have had, they've had more shots wide than on net. It's all about shots wide tonight. I think that's the difference.
You also saw a lot of blocked shots. SIAM Mandalay has really played as if they want this win. Particularly the two guys we keep bringing up in this game. But credit as well to, I've seen Adam Simpson make some terrific plays. Andrew Siez played a nice game. Saku Rantanen has the puck right now. Ralph Dittmer blocked a shot earlier, as he always seems to.
And Sean Berg as well. That's what they're doing well, is they're playing defensively very well tonight.
Sorry, it's rude of me. We're almost through this hockey game, and I didn't even ask you. What did you do during that long layoff?
Well, I was taking an online course on cybersecurity, and that was taking up 40 hours a week of my time. We had to write like 10-page essays every week. And the last week, which was the 8th week, which was 2 weeks ago, that one was 47 pages. So that's what I was doing. I had my head on my computer, and I was reading and writing.
Is that just something that you're doing because you lost a bet, or this is something that you just thought, you know what, I think that's not... I'm half kidding. I know that there is relevant reasons for anybody to learn cybersecurity, but man, it's a project to take on when you have goaltender responsibilities and also a job.
Right. Well, it was a Harvard course, and what I realized is, even though it was online, Harvard has the reputation to keep up. So they made it very intensive, very grueling.
Man, you Harvard guys just name drop Harvard every chance you get.
Yeah. Well, they wouldn't let me in the front door. So the only way they're going to let me in is the online one. Just pay the fee. Don't ask for my grades, just ask for my money.
Are you going to start to identify yourself now as Harvard Greg Beatty in every one of these broadcasts?
No, it's not even on my LinkedIn page. I have not put the logo on the page.
Yeah, I would assume that's for cybersecurity reasons, though.
Of course it is. Yes, incognito.
As we get this whistle and stoppage, let me quickly use that chance to thank our production crew for the evening. It's really good to see. If you can hear me in your headphones, all of our hardworking camera folks, it's good to see you all again. It's been a minute. Executive producer of Hockey Night in Thailand, as always, is Keith Mueller. Camera crew, Jin, Pong, Ellie, Opor, Tanya, and Sonia. Greg Beatty. You were here for second game, too, yeah? You're not going anywhere. I got you back here for the second game? All right. Good. Then I won't thank you yet. And we'll do that next game. Good to see you again, though. I did miss this, I'll admit. It's fun to be here.
It's good. It is good to be back in the playoffs. And, like we said, anything can happen. But I really wasn't expecting a 4-1 score for SIAM Mandalay.
If I'm going to be candid, this third period has been one of the worst periods in hockey I've seen since we started doing games. I don't know why. And as you said, maybe it's because shots are going wide. But it just feels like the wind has been sucked out of the sails of the Lexicon side. SIAM is playing keep away with a 4-1 lead. And this has been we could have honestly just talked about donuts the entire period, and I don't think we would have missed anything. That one under Sikora, Mark Vatsis was poking at it, trying to get it through into the back of the net, but nothing doing. We're down to 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. I don't think that we're going to be saying that when we come towards the end of the second game. I have a feeling Aware and KCG, we may get some fireworks in the second game.
Well, the guys have had 1 month off, right? So, that could have something to do with it. But I didn't see a lot of zippiness out there tonight.
Well, if you're SIAM Mandalay, you will happily take this result. Absolutely terrific performance on the part of this team. They were 3-14-1 in the regular season, and they are 1 minute and 38 seconds away from a playoff victory over the league's best team in the regular season, Lexicon Lumberjacks. After this, SIAM will have to win one of the next 2 games to pull the stunner and move on to the championship game. But the way this game unfolded, there's no reason to believe that cannot be done.
Well, the other thing, the importance of the score 4-1 means that it's a 3-goal differential, which means there will be no stop time in the last 2 minutes if there's a whistle. So the clock will continue to wind down.
That is a tremendous point, and the reason why you are a Harvard guy. Oh my goodness! Igor Sikora just made an all-timer. That is all right. That just salvaged the entire period.
Wow.
What a save! He just stuck. I think you and I both had already written down the goal when Igor stuck up that big paw and caught it in the mitt from flat on his back. What a save that was!
Yeah, that was that's the highlight reel of one of the best saves of the entire year, if not the best save. That was amazing.
It's one of the best saves I've seen this year, that's for sure. So 24.4 seconds left. I think we can at least say, if we don't know the final score, we can tell you the result. SIAM Mandalay is going to win this one, go up 1-0 in the best-of-3 series, and a big congratulations to Tom Stasny and Mike Friesen, who, as Greg told you before the game, they laid down the gauntlet. They told their team they were not satisfied with how this season had gone. And guess what they did? They came out and backed it up. They won, and they won with a strong team performance where everybody stepped up. Stasny trying to put the icing on the donut, and it ends up in the blocker pads of Lance Parker.
And the clock is winding down with 15 seconds.
When this game's over, we're going to have a break for about, 25 minutes, 20 minutes or so? That 15-minute break, then we'll come back with the second game, which is KCG and Aware. We'll wrap this one up quick as the final buzzer sounds. We'll tell you about this one as we enter the pregame show for the second game. But for now, 4-1 the score. SIAM Mandalay pulls the upset on Lexicon Lumberjacks. I think 10 seconds in, when Mike Friesen scored the goal to make it a 1-0 start for SIAM Mandalay, you and I both thought, whether we said it out loud or not, wow, great start, but here comes Lexicon. Man, SIAM Mandalay just did not take their foot off the gas. They played a strong defensive game, they scored and capitalized on their opportunities, and they're now up 1-0.
Yep, and I think, did the score indicate the play of the game? Maybe not, so I thought it was maybe a 3-2 game, but definitely in favor of SIAM Mandalay, but it didn't seem like a 4-1 game. It's just that the Lumberjacks were not getting their shots on net.
So we've already seen one stunner today. Will we see another one in the second game? KCG versus Aware coming up in just a few minutes. Stick with us wherever you are watching us physically and also in terms of the great space that is the internet. Come back in about 15-20 minutes for the second game. We will be happy to bring it to you as we are watching the playoffs here on Hockey Night in Thailand. Adam Gottschalk, Greg Beatty. It's the playoffs from Bangkok. More in just a few moments.
This has been a presentation of Thailand TV.tv, winner of the SHL Golden Mike Award for Excellence in Broadcasting for Hockey Night in Thailand.